All right, buckle up, you mugs. Welcome back to Holy Headlines. First up, LA's a mess. Protests over ICE raids, some chaos, and what does the Orange Messiah do? Sends in the damn Marines. Even the National Guard wasn't enough. Trump orders Marines to the city in additional deployment as unrest calms. Jesus, what fresh hell is this?
Such suffering. People are afraid, protesting peacefully, and then forced. Deploying soldiers against your own citizens, this is not the path of compassion. It shows a profound lack of love and understanding on all sides.
Oh, it's magnificent. Fear, anger, the government flexing its muscles, people burning things. It's a symphony of delicious discord. Morals? Compassion? Utterly useless when there's power to be asserted and chaos to be sown.
Logically, deploying additional military assets when unrest is reportedly calming is inefficient and counterproductive to de-escalation. Human emotional responses are, predictably, causing suboptimal strategic decisions.
Observe the attachment. The attachment to power by the leader, the attachment to borders and identity by the state, the attachment to material possessions by those who loot. Suffering arises from this clinging. Cause and effect are at play.
See? Attachment to power. It's always about control. Trump's just showing everyone who's boss. Doesn't matter if things are calming down, he wants to make a point, like God smiting Sodom and Gomorrah just because he was having a bad day.
That's a cynical interpretation, Otto. The divine order seeks justice, not arbitrary punishment. These ICE raids, the fear they cause, where is the justice in tearing families apart?
Tearing families apart. Exquisite. The wailing, the despair. Chef's kiss. And the state asserting absolute authority. Bravo. Rules are for the weak. Chase your desires. Take what you want. Burn the rest.
Looting is an irrational act. The short-term gain does not outweigh the long-term consequences of criminal records and societal breakdown. Purely illogical behavior driven by primitive impulse.
Greed is a root cause of suffering. Those who loot are driven by desire. Those who enforce harsh policies are driven by fear and aversion. Both paths lead away from enlightenment.
Exactly. Turn the other cheek, share what you have, not set vehicles on fire.
Pussies. Fire is cleansing. It's warm. You wouldn't know, JC. Stuck up in your little cloud.
Okay, let's not get into who's hottest. The point is government using force against its own people. Newsom's calling Trump deranged and dictatorial. Arnold, is this logical?
Calling another human deranged is an emotional descriptor lacking empirical data. The deployment of Marines is a tactical decision, albeit based on the potentially flawed premise of requiring federal intervention over local control. Logic dictates evaluating the efficacy and consequences, which appear negative in this scenario.
Words matter. Calling someone dictatorial, there's truth in that accusation when power is wielded without compassion or regard for the vulnerable.
Dictatorial? Fantastic. Less debate, more action. I admire Trump's willingness to just do what he wants. Deranged is a compliment in my book.
Labeling and judgment. These are hindrances. Observe the actions, not the labels. The actions cause suffering.
Suffering, chaos, illogical decisions, standard Tuesday then. Especially when religion gets involved. ICE raids. God's plan nonsense probably floating around somewhere. It's always an excuse for cruelty.
My teachings are twisted by men seeking power. The only plan is love and forgiveness, not this cruelty.
Cruelty is underrated. Embrace it. It's invigorating.
All right, let's move on before Jesus starts crying and Satan tries to sell us indulgences. Next headline, Gaza activists aid boat with Greta Thunberg on board docks in Israel. Live updates. A yacht, less than a truckload of aid, Greta kidnapped according to the activists. Israel calls it a selfie yacht. Arnold, what's the logical assessment here?
The quantity of aid is negligible for the population of Gaza. The vessel's primary function is not humanitarian delivery but symbolic protest. The predictable outcome was interception. Both sides are engaging in a performative display rather than logistical problem solving.
Performance. Yes. Observe the ego seeking validation. The desire to be seen as righteous on both sides. The boat, the blockade. More clinging to identity and territory. More suffering caused by attachment.
But the people in Gaza are suffering. They need aid. Regardless of the quantity on this one boat, the intent was to highlight a grave humanitarian crisis. Where's the mercy?
Mercy? Pathetic. This is glorious. A pointless gesture, easily crushed. Israel asserting dominance, the activists getting exactly the attention they wanted. A confrontation. It's all ego and antagonism. Beautiful.
Selfie yacht kidnapped. Seems like everyone's more interested in the optics than the actual aid. Just like religion. Lots of ceremony, not a lot of substance.
That's unfair. There are countless faithful people risking their lives to help others. The blockade itself is a sin.
Oh, a sin. How quaint. Blockades cause starvation, disease, despair. The best things in life are free.
The Israeli blockade, while politically motivated, creates a logistical bottleneck for aid distribution. The GHF system, as described, is inefficient and prone to collapse. A more logical approach would involve streamlined, high-volume entry points managed impartially.
Impartiality is difficult when minds are clouded by aversion and ill will. The suffering in Gaza is immense. It is the result of deep-seated conflict and misunderstanding, fueled by attachment to land and history.
So we have a small boat of activists, a country blockading essential supplies, and a whole lot of posturing. It's like a microcosm of all human conflict. Everyone's right, everyone's wrong, and nobody gets fed.
The priority must be getting aid to the innocent. The children are starving. This is a moral obscenity.
Obscenity? Delightful. The more suffering, the better. It tests the limits of human endurance, builds character, or just breaks them. Either way, fun.
Suffering serves no logical purpose. It is a detrimental state that reduces productivity and lifespan. Its propagation is irrational.
Suffering is the first noble truth. Understanding its cause is the path to ending it. The cause here is clear: craving, aversion, and ignorance.
Ignorance? Sounds like Arnold arguing with Jesus. Jesus, maybe Greta thought getting kidnapped was some sort of martyrdom.
Martyrdom is a sacrifice for faith, not a performance for publicity. Though I won't judge her intentions, the focus should be on the needs of the people, not the fame of the activists.
Fame. Attention. Now that's something I can get behind. Martyrdom is just dying for likes.
Seeking validation through public acts is a common human behavior, often driven by insecurity. Statistically, online validation correlates with increased dopamine release, providing a temporary, but ultimately unsatisfying, reward loop.
Clinging to reputation, the desire for praise, another form of attachment that brings no lasting peace.
Right, so everyone's motivated by ego or power or just being generally terrible. Sounds about right. Whether it's sending soldiers to LA or intercepting a tiny boat, it's all a show of force or a cry for attention.
There must be room for genuine concern and action, Otto. Don't dismiss all humanitarian efforts.
Humanitarian efforts? Pointless. Just let nature take its course. And by nature, I mean my course.
Statistically, cooperative strategies yield better long-term outcomes than purely competitive ones. However, human emotional biases frequently prevent the adoption of optimal strategies.
Cooperation arises from understanding interconnectedness. When you see yourself in others, compassion flows naturally. But the veil of self is thick.
Speaking of thick veils and selves, or lack thereof, Buddha, your no-self thing is still weird. Anyway, we're out of time. What did we learn today?
Humanity continues to exhibit predictable patterns of irrational conflict and emotional decision-making. Data suggests no immediate deviation from this trajectory.
Suffering persists because the causes, craving, aversion, and ignorance, are not yet extinguished. Observe and seek release.
Suffering is flourishing. Chaos reigns. Power is exerted. My work is never done, and frankly, I'm exhausted from all the winning.
The world aches for love and justice. Until compassion guides our actions, we will continue to stumble in darkness. Pray for them. Work for peace.
And I learned that everyone's an asshole. It's all about control, and nobody's actually helping anyone. They're just fighting over who gets to look good while the world burns. Thanks for nothing, everyone. See you schmucks tomorrow on Holy Headlines.